Okay, these are going to be our notes for histograms. This is chapter 10, stop 7. All right, so histograms. Histograms show data from a frequency table can be displayed as a histogram. A histogram is a type of bar graph, so they look very similar to bar graphs, okay, that are used to display numerical data that have been organized into equal, that's important, intervals, okay, equal intervals, very important. These intervals show the, sorry, that should be it, there should be a the right there, frequency distribution. So it shows the frequency distribution, FREQUENCY, that's frequency, and then distribution, DISTRIBUTION. So it shows the frequency distribution of the data and how many pieces of the data are in each interval. So this is an example of what a histogram looks like, and you may look at that and be like, well, that's a bar graph. But what's different about a bar graph is that in a bar graph the bars don't touch, but in a histogram they do, okay? And also you'll notice that on a bar graph normally you have categories down here, like maybe yellow, red, blue, soccer, football, something like that. And in a histogram you have intervals, so number intervals. That's from one number to another. That's called an interval. So a histogram has intervals and the bars have to touch. Okay, so example 1, refer to the histogram shown. How many dogs in the class weigh more than 20 pounds? So I want more than 20 pounds. Well, here's my weights. This is 1 to 10 pounds. Let's just look. There's 2 of those because that bar goes up to the 2. From 11 to 20 pounds, that looks like that bar goes up to 5. From 21 to 30 pounds, that would be 7. From 31 to 40 pounds, that would be about 3. And from 41 to 50 pounds, that's about 1. So, I want to know how many dogs in the class weigh more than 20 pounds. Well, that would be, it wouldn't fall in this category because that's 11 to 20. I want more than 20. So in this interval, 21 to 30, there are 7 dogs. So there are 7 dogs between 21 and 30. The next interval up, which is more than 20 pounds, would be 31 to 40. And there's 3 of those. And then between 41 and 50 pounds, there's 1. So if I add all those together, 7 plus 3 plus 1, you get 11. So there's 11 dogs in this class that weigh more than 20 pounds. More than 20 pounds. That does not include this because that's 20 pounds. I want more than that. So it has to start at 21 and go up. Example 2. The table shows the ages of teachers at a middle school. Draw a histogram to represent the data. All right, so on this first one, they gave us a histogram and we interpreted it. On the second one, they're giving us a frequency table and we are going to create our own histogram from it. So step 1 is going to be to draw and label a horizontal. Remember, horizontal is left to right. It's like the horizon. And vertical, that's up and down, axis. Okay, so we're going to draw and label a horizontal and vertical axis, and we want to make sure that we include a title. Well, if I look down here, I already have a title, Ages of Teachers. If I didn't have that, I could have gotten that from the title of the frequency table. So here's our title. Our horizontal axis, or the one that goes left and right, so this is our horizontal. Okay, these, if you look here, are intervals. Well, that's going to be our age ranges. So from age 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and 50 to 59. So this axis is going to be our age in years. Okay, so this axis came from our intervals. Okay, and then the vertical axis, okay, that is how many teachers fall in that age range. So our frequency is going to be our vertical axis. So frequency is going to be our vertical axis. Okay, so step one, we drew and labeled the horizontal and vertical axis, age intervals, and our frequency, how many people fall in that age group, and then we made sure there was a title. Step two is to show the intervals from the frequency table. So again, intervals, these are the intervals, that's a range of numbers on the horizontal axis. So we want to make sure that we put the intervals on the horizontal, and then we're going to put we're going to label the vertical axis with the frequencies, which is what we did here. So we're just reinforcing what we did. And then step three, for each interval, we're going to draw a bar whose height is given by the frequencies. So we're going to figure out how far or how high my bar goes by looking at our frequencies. We're going to make sure that the bars are touching. Guys, this is very, 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 very important. So maybe put very important. Draw a little thing around it. Touching is very important. Okay, we want to make sure that they're touching. That's very important. Okay, so from the age range 20 to 29, so if I look up at my frequency table, there are 4 teachers that are between 20 and 29. So this bar is going to go up to 4. Now when I draw my line down, I kind of look like, what's the halfway point between these two? That's about right here. That'll help me remember to make them touching. Okay, so there's my first interval, 20 to 29. I'm gonna just do that. Okay, my next interval is from 30 to 39, and there are 9 people. So remember, our bars have to touch. So I'm gonna come up this side and just extend that up to about where 9 is. I'm going to go to the other side about halfway between these two and draw the same line up there. Okay, I'm going to color that one blue. It doesn't really matter if you change colors or whatever, that doesn't matter. And then from age range 40 to 49, well, there were 6 of those, so 6 goes to about here. And extend this line up. Do that in green. And then last but not least, 50 to 59, well, there was only 1 teacher that fell in that category. So 50 to 59. All right, so this is a histogram because it has intervals and my bars are touching. Remember, that's very important that you make sure the bars touch. Remember, when you're graphing, your intervals go on the horizontal axis, and the frequency, or how many times that occurs in each interval, goes on the vertical axis. Okay, so the bars have to be touching. You have to have intervals. That's what makes it a histogram. And notice that these intervals are all equal. 20 to 29, that's the same range as 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, that's 9, 9, 9, 9. Okay, they have to be equal intervals. You couldn't do 20 to 21 and then 22 to 40. You can't do that. They're not equal, so they have to be equal intervals. Okay, so these are your notes on histograms.